Hi guys. Well, 18 months ago, year and a half ago, basically today, I found out that I had a sister. I won't say half sister because Heather is my sister. We have the same dad, we have different moms. And my journey has been very different than hers. My journey has been, in a lot of ways, very much easier. And I wanted to take a minute to share how I feel about this whole experience and to tell you guys more or less what's happened in the last little while. To give you a refresher, basically, at some point, I guess my dad and her mom had met and were close for a short time and conceived a child. And he came back to Canada. She stayed there and got married to another gentleman, and he raised my sister thinking that that was his child. It's not uncommon, because that happens a lot, you know, that if you're not sure of who the father was, you know, or whatever happens, sometimes this happens. And thousands of people have this experience every day, as places like Ancestry, DNA, or 23andMe, or any of those DNA kind of websites are gaining popularity. People are finding out family secrets that they didn't know they had. But people do have an opportunity to handle these things differently. When Heather reached out to me the first time, she reached out to me first. She said, "Hey, it looks like we're super related." It came up as first cousins, or closer on Ancestry. She said, "How are we related?" She was doing this to find out who her dad's family was, because he didn't know his dad. So she was doing it actually to try and be nice and find out some family history for her dad. Basically, as I started going through our related ancestors, I realized that she had family that she was related to on both my grandma and my grandpa's side. And so the 3 in the morning, I woke up and I basically said, have you considered that your dad isn't your dad? Because there's only so many ways that you can have the same grandparents, and that's either she was my uncle's kid or she was my dad's kid. It was really, really close. I would assume that one of my aunts would remember having a kid. So she said there's no way, and anyway, I guess she brought it up with her parents at some point, and they were in complete denial, thought that she was making it up, creating drama, didn't believe in the science of a DNA kit, and really just started making her life difficult, thinking it was fabricated stories and so forth. And anyway, they had a falling out. And so I'm kind of at the same time getting to know my sister and feeling this empathy for this new person in my life, seeing how her life is being ripped apart. Well, mine, you know, I had a couple bumps in the road, a couple things, but more or less, I just get to add a person into my life. My mom is very accepting. I'm very accepting, I'd like to think. And so for me, I gained something, and I could see her losing things. Losing her mom, losing her dad, losing her brother, and losing her eldest daughter, who all really had a hard time with this news. Wasn't her fault, wasn't Heather's fault. It wasn't my fault. We're just kids. We were just babies. We didn't do anything other than be born. But wanting to talk to me and wanting to be a part of my life ended up creating a big problem for Heather. I think her family would have preferred that she just stayed in denial and never talked to me and didn't have anything to do with me. And that would have been a travesty, because I really enjoy having Heather in my life. So I'm kind of a traditionalist. I'm a family-oriented sort of person. And so I thought I could mend fences. And so I actually wrote her dad, and I talked to him on the phone, and he was all fired up. And I can't imagine how I would have handled it. You know, had I found out my daughter wasn't my daughter. You know, you love them with your whole heart, and you raise them, and they are literally the joy, the warmth in your heart. You do everything in your life with your kids in your mind. So I can only imagine what he felt and what he had to go through to hear that news. And so he agreed that if she did a couple things, like take down a vlog that she put up to help her with her healing process and some other things, that they would have her back in her life. And I thought things had gotten better, but they hadn't. My dad had told me that at some point, and this is I think where the challenge was, my dad had told me at some point that someone had told him that he had a daughter out there. Somebody told him, and he was actually looking. While my dad was still alive, my dad and Heather's dad, her biological dad, Don, passed away a couple years ago. Before he passed on, he was actually actively looking. I mean, placing ads in papers. He didn't know where she lived or where, but somebody tipped him off and said that there's a kid out there, a daughter specifically, to the point where he posted ads online looking for his lost daughter. So this isn't just like, this wouldn't have been a surprise to my dad. He would have been very relieved and very pleased to have found his daughter. The challenge is, my folks decided that they wanted some affirmation and decided for whatever reason in their grief and their pain of not being able to find her, they went to go see somebody who was claiming to be a psychic. Whether they are or not, I'm not going to debate whether that stuff is real or not, but that's what they felt they wanted to do. And that person said, yes, you have a daughter out there and so forth, and reaffirmed a lot of the things that he was hoping to reaffirm. Because he did that, because he decided that he wanted to get that second affirmation, her parents really didn't believe any of this and have now basically kicked her out of their lives again. And again, I'm not debating whether my parents should or shouldn't have gone. Listen, he was hurting and he was wanting to have some kind of affirmation. He was grasping. He couldn't find her in the paper, couldn't find her anywhere. He went to wherever he could to try and get some information. So, you know, he thought that that would help him. And maybe he was the best psychic in the world because they said that, yeah, he's got a daughter out there. Now, sadly, he never got a chance to meet Heather. He never had a chance to meet her. And I know that had he met her, he would have loved her. She's a kind and warm person who puts others before herself. And, you know, she's very stoic and very, very quick to look after others' feelings and mental health before her own. And so today I wanted to congratulate Heather because today she went on a podcast, which I'll put the link in the description below. She went on a podcast and she shared her story and she shared her experience. And I can't imagine, she thought she was being too mean on her parents. She thought she was being mean to her parents who have excluded her from her life, excluded her from going to her grandfather's funeral, excluded her from their family. She thought that she was being too tough on them by telling the truth. I don't think she was tough enough. And at this point, my empathy for her mom and her dad are gone. I felt that empathy before. I could understand the hurt and I could understand the pain that they had. But to continue to exclude somebody from your life that you raised since a child, in my mind, is unacceptable. And so they've made a decision that, frankly, I would never have done myself. You know, I question how I would have handled if I would have found out how one of my kids, if I would have found that information about my daughter. But I love my daughter and I've spent all my time with my kids. And if I would find that news out, they would still be that little person that I raised. And you still have to remember that they're that little person that looked up to you and loved you. And so on this day, 18 months down now, I want to tell my sister Heather just how proud I am of her. I'm proud of you, Heather, for being as strong as you are and for being considerate of your parents, even though they have not shown you that same consideration or compassion. I think, frankly, they should be ashamed of themselves for how they've handled this situation. They're putting their needs and wants above yours. The pain that they're causing you is unacceptable. So I want you to know that I'm here for you. And my family, my wife, and my kids and I are here for you. And I'm not your half-brother, I'm your brother. You know, we had no say in this situation, but we have the same crazy, wacky dad with the sense of humor who liked watching Three Stooges and liked surf music and old cars and hot rods. That's our dad. And so for the likes of me, for the best I can do, I'm going to share with you what type of man he was and what type of person he was. And how he lives on through me and the people that have met him. But I want you to know that I'm proud of you. I love you. We've only just met, it seems. I've known you a year and a half, but I can tell you I love you with my whole heart. And I hope that you continue on your journey of healing. And I don't want you to feel as though you have to forgive yourself. I think if anybody finds themselves in that situation, it seems to be very common that a person who finds out they have a different parent, they take the blame and they own that more than they should. And if you've been in this situation and you find that you find out you have a different parent and your family disowns you or the relationship changes, those are their demons that they have to sort out. Those are their issues that they have to work on. That's not to do with you. And I want you to hold your head high, Heather, and I want you to be proud of who you are, and know that you have lots of family out there that love you, and you have a lot of family up here in Canada who would love to get to know you more. So I can't wait until the borders open. 18 months. I'm looking forward to the next 18 years and more, knowing you as my sister. So much love from me to you. You find yourself in a situation where you've just met someone in your family. Heather and I both agree on the same way. Why not take a chance and try and open your heart to someone versus exclude them? It's much easier to do than to throw away years of love and years of happiness. So Heather, I know we'll talk again soon. We talk every couple days, and I'm so glad to have you in my life. Much love from your little brother to you. Signing off, and to any of those that are in a similar situation, I hope that you can find peace and happiness in your lives. And to Heather's mom and dad who raised her, I hope that you can find it in your heart to make amends and to bridge that gap with your family before time passes, because folks, time is very short. I've already lost one parent. I'd hate for Heather to lose hers and not be able to mend those fences, but we all have to be ready and prepared for that to happen. So to my sister, I love you. I'm gonna sign off, and we'll see you guys soon. Oh, and check out her Heather's podcast that she did. It's in the link below. Go check it out. I think she did a lovely job. Bye, guys.